In 1347, humanity entered one of its darkest chapters. Europe was a world of crowded cities, packed tightly behind stone walls. People lived shoulder to shoulder, surrounded by animals, waste, and prayer. Most believed life was controlled by God. Disease was punishment. Obedience was survival. Then, ships arrived at the ports of Sicily. They came from the east, from the trade routes of Asia, from lands people barely understood. At first, the ships were quiet, too quiet. When their doors were opened, sailors collapsed onto the docks, their bodies burned with fever, their skin covered in dark, swollen lumps. Some were already dead. Within days, the dock workers fell sick, then the merchants, then the entire city. Europe had just met its executioner. The enemy was not a curse or divine judgment. It was a bacterium Yersinia pestis, carried by fleas, living on rats, moving silently through ships, caravans, and cities. The same trade routes that built wealth now delivered death. The Silk Road became a pipeline of suffering. The symptoms were fast, brutal, and unforgiving. Fever that melted the mind, vomiting blood, swollen boils, called buboes in the neck, armpits, and groin. They would burst, bleed, and rot. Skin turned black from internal bleeding. Most victims died within 3 days. Some died within hours. There was no cure, no understanding, and no escape. By 1348, the plague was spreading across Europe like fire in dry grass. Italy, France, Spain, England, cities lost half their population in a single season. Church bells rang non-stop, until there was no one left to ring them. Mass graves were dug outside city walls, then inside, then everywhere. Eventually, bodies were just stacked, covered with lime, and forgotten. The smell of death became permanent. Between 1347 and 1353, the Black Death killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people. That was up to 60% of Europe's population. Some villages disappeared completely, their names erased, their homes reclaimed by the forest. Entire families died together in locked houses. Entire bloodlines ended in silence. This was not just a plague, it was a civilizational collapse. Fear rewrote human behavior. Parents abandoned children. The sick were locked inside their homes and left to starve. Love became dangerous. Touch became lethal. Cities shut their gates. This is where the word quarantine was born, from *quaranta, Journey *, 40 days of isolation. Survival now meant separation. Religion began to fracture. People prayed harder than ever, and still, they died. Priests collapsed during sermons. Monks rotted in their monasteries. The church could not stop it, could not explain it, and could not save its own. Faith turned to desperation. Some joined the flagellants, marching from town to town, whipping themselves, begging God to stop the punishment. Others lost faith entirely, and some looked for enemies. Minorities were blamed, accused of poisoning wells, hunted, and burned. Fear needs a target. But then, something unexpected happened. With so many dead, workers became rare. Labor became valuable. Peasants began demanding wages. Serfs refused servitude. People walked away from the land they were once chained to. Feudalism began to crack, not by rebellion, but by absence. Death had changed the balance of power. Survivors inherited land. Women took on roles once forbidden. The poor gained leverage. For the first time, ordinary people realized something dangerous. The system needed them more than they needed the system. This realization would echo for centuries. The human mind changed forever. Art became obsessed with death. Skeletons danced in paintings. Timepieces appeared everywhere, reminding people that life is short. People stopped waiting for heaven. They started questioning authority. Medicine slowly shifted from prayer to observation. Science was born from desperation. The Black Death didn't just kill. It forced humanity to think. Did it almost wipe us out? Yes, closer than most people realize. But a few things stopped extinction. Some people had natural immunity. The plague burned too fast to infect everyone, and humans adapted through isolation and control. When the plague finally faded, the world was unrecognizable. Nothing returned to normal. Power had shifted. Faith had weakened. Society had changed direction. The modern world began its slow birth, not from progress, but from survival. The Black Death was not just a disease. It was a warning, a reminder that civilization is fragile, that power can collapse overnight, and that death doesn't just end lives. It reshapes history. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, Please like and subscribe for more deep dives into history.